Right, some of you might remember I did a video not that long ago about a cheap eBay wastegate, and basically about how it was rubbish and why you shouldn't buy one. Well, anyway, after a bit of to and fro with the seller, who actually wanted me to attempt to repair the wastegate, they ultimately gave me a refund. My turbosmart item arrived just the other day to replace it. So I thought I'd do a video looking at the turbosmart and explaining why it's better, and just you get a chance to look at it, see what you think. So firstly, the valve itself, it's called a hypergate 45 from turbosmart. Very well made, machined. I've had this apart, had a look at it. The diaphragm inside is far better quality. The valve is more substantial internally, and just everything about it is made better. It's higher quality, which you'd expect. It is 3 times the price. And it's got the valve seat, which I'll see if I can get that out. So yeah, there's the valve seat that sits in the bottom, and there's the valve, the piston that opens and closes, and then the valve seat just sits in there. You also get the various V-band weld-on fittings. So this one goes on the exterior port like that. This one with the valve itself, that goes like that. So when you clamp the two together using one of the clamps supplied just there, it forces the valve seat into the piston, which gives you your seal. The clamps are high quality that's supplied with it. Come with the screws, very good, tightened down very nicely. You're not going to have any problems. The nut is also retained in like a hex cut out in the clamp, which is a nice feature. That means that you've only got to tighten up the Allen screw side to pull it in tight. Comes with all the fittings to block off the various ports. You can see you've got a port there and a port there. You can actually rotate the body, so there's another valve there. They give you some options in terms of where you can fit your vacuum ports. So for me, I'll be fitting just one at the bottom. I'll probably replace that one there. You also get a spanner that comes with it, and that is to undo the valve for dismantling, just like that. It's a bit like a C-spanner. Well, it is a C-spanner really, but what you'd use on the coilover to adjust the height. Yeah, the valve's just very good quality for the money. Obviously, it's not cheap. It's expensive, but for tuning a turbo, having an external wastegate, this would be ideal. And roughly, I think I paid 330. How much? 300. Yeah, £320 it was. So very expensive compared to the eBay valve. 3 times more expensive. Actually, a bit more than that. Probably quite over the top for what I need, but I don't want to be fitting something in the exhaust that's going to constantly give me jip, whereas I think this will be reliable once it's fitted in there. I've also had a quick think about where I'm going to fit it, and after seeking some advice online, they're saying about fitting it after the factory resonator, which is what I will be doing in the next video. I'll probably just be getting the car jacked up and the exhaust off, and then showing the process of cutting the pipe work and then welding in this. The plan for me is to weld this in like that on the side of the exhaust pipe, so that the wastegate or bypass valve blows down onto the floor. So it'll give me a bit more noise, but because it's after the resonator, it won't have that horrible cheap, bean can exhaust type sound. So yeah, I thought I'd have an update, show you this turbosmart wastegate. You can see what you think of it, whether you think it's a good piece of kit. I definitely think it's good. I've had turbosmart products before, blow-off valve and bypass valve, and they're great pieces of kit. Never had a problem with them. Well engineered. You could argue they're overpriced, but there's not many manufacturers in this realm. I think there's Tile, and then you've got obviously all the cheap Chinese companies. and Tile and turbosmart have got the best reputation compared to the cheap Chinese ones. And you saw in the previous video, the Chinese one is only going to give you problems. And like I said, when I contacted the seller, they were basically saying, oh, we'll send bits so you can repair it. Can you send me pictures of the defects? I sent all the pictures, and they were still saying, oh, maybe we'll send you another valve. You're sort of thinking at this point, I don't want a valve that's going to not do the job. So like some of you pointed out, you're better off spending the money first and getting something decent. So I hope you like this quick overview of the turbosmart valve. It's not meant to be a complete, strip down or tear down of the valve. Just my quick opinion of what I think of it. I don't think I'm going to have any problems with it. I think it'll do the job perfectly. Only downside is it is quite pricey, but you have to pay for quality. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Make sure you like and subscribe for more. My next video will be removing the factory exhaust and cutting and welding this onto the factory exhaust. So make sure you keep an eye out for that video over the coming weeks.